My GF female 27 has been cheating on me male 26 while living in my house. I have undeniable proof. What can I do? So, here's the scenario. I own a house and invited my girlfriend to live with me approximately a year and a half ago. I just took a job out of state and am now living out of state during the week, but I return home every weekend. This is just a temporary situation since she has shown an interest in relocating out here with me. I'm sure you can guess where this is headed. My girlfriend has been cheating on me when I am away during the week and has been bringing males over to my house while I am gone. I have unequivocal evidence. This is the first portion of my query. Can I simply toss her out since I own the house and her name isn't on anything? According to what I've read, I should provide a few days' notice, but everything I've read says something slightly different. If it matters, the house is in Pennsylvania. Part 2 of my difficulty is that even if I am required by law to issue a warning, I am still going to take her belongings from my house to her mother's apartment. The only problem is that, since she is not presently working, I need to get her out of the home for at least 10 hours so that I can get all of her belongings out, and she has no reason to return after I inform her that it is done. I'm looking for suggestions on how to get her out of the home for that long. I can't think of anything to get her out, so any innovative assistance would be much appreciated. If not, I'm going to try anyhow. Need inventive ideas for getting her out of the home long enough to relocate all of her belongings to her mother's place. This way, she won't have any motive to return to my place once I tell her it's done. Edit. I appreciate the legal advice, but may I receive some moral counsel as well? How can I get her out of the home long enough for me to relocate her belongings? I'm not going to simply leave it outdoors. I'm going to drive it myself to her mother's place, where she'll be residing until I toss her out. I need assistance in this matter. Please be inventive. I can't take seeing her for any longer than necessary. I need her to go right now. I know if I kick her out, she will never take it anyplace since I will have thrown the evidence in her face. She wouldn't have the guts to stand up to the circumstance. She'd be too embarrassed to see me, and I know she wouldn't want to see me again. She, on the other hand, will not want to leave the house. This is the problem. This is why I need to get her out for a few minutes, so I can physically relocate her belongings so she has no incentive to return to the home. I know that once she and her belongings are gone, that's the end of it. Story 2. I, F24, am inexperienced with guys. My hot friend, M27, has shown interest in me, I think. Should I try to have sex with him? I haven't gotten laid in 15 years, but don't want to come off as overly sexual and like sex is the only thing I want. I would like to maintain our friendship. Please help. So please bear with me. This is going to be a lengthy tale, and I have been taking the same college classes for the last 2 years. We were acquaintances before the epidemic, but we got closer while everything was on distance. He started asking me out to lunch in early July. I couldn't attend because of job obligations, so I had to reschedule. I then invited him to activities such as minigolf and pool. We went out for drinks and to play pool a few times. I assumed we were hanging out as friends since none of these things were designated as dates. We hadn't seen each other in almost a month since college had resumed. He contacted me one Friday evening to meet him at the pub where he works. I thought that was strange, but I went regardless since I didn't have anything else planned for that night. I stepped in and noticed him sitting alone in the bar. Due to COVID constraints, the venue was not fully booked. We spoke for around 20 minutes until I got a drink and proceeded to a table with other students to start up a discussion. A few minutes later, I get a Snapchat from him inquiring where I went. I replied that I went to sit with other students at a table since I was bored standing at the bar. Occasionally, I would see him serve kids and my gaze would meet his and he would keep eye contact with me for a few seconds while carrying bottles. I had a great time conversing with a group of kids for the next 3 hours. Unfortunately, by the end of the night, I had had much too much alcohol. When I was leaving the pub, I noticed him and approached him, saying something along the lines of "When are you done working?" and hugging him, and he placed his arm over my shoulder and said, "You're drunk, go home." I then supposedly phoned and contacted him on Snapchat many times, wondering when he was finished working. I also added, It's too bad you didn't sit at the table with me and compete against the other pupils. Let's fast forward to the following day. When I awoke, I felt very mortified. I choose not to reach out and instead put it behind me. I received a Snapchat message from him late that day at 11 p.m. in which he said that he should return tonight so that we could exact retribution. I was already in bed and had no plans to go, so I respectfully refused, stating that I was nearly asleep and had to get up early the next morning. We haven't actually hung together in person since then. College has been challenging. However, I have spotted his companion smiling/looking at me, and I once heard him say my name as I passed by, though I don't believe he realized I heard him. There's a sensation in the air that his buddy knows something I don't. I'm just hoping he's not talking about me behind my back to his pal. I've been attending college events, and he's reached out to me every time, begging me to get him tickets. He is often drunk texting me, and most recently he was at a social gathering, intoxicated, and requested me through Snap to get him tickets to an event I was going to attend. I asked him who he wanted to go with, and he replied he wanted to go with me and the rest of the college course participants. But then, a split second later, he was like, "Wait, what day is the event?" "Oh, I can't since I'm working that day." Despite the fact that the date of the event was plainly marked and apparent to him. I was upset, so I informed him, jokingly, that he stinks, and he continued to taunt me about tickets throughout the day, writing weird nonsensical things, calling me names from internal jokes, and most of his Snapchats were selfies of him smiling/laughing. So essentially, from 3 p.m. until 11 p.m., we were Snapchatting and he was teasing/joking with me. He even phoned once, I believe by mistake, and I was like, "Oh, I missed it," due to my phone not having Snap alerts turned on, and he called again, and while chatting to him, I saw he was a little tipsy, even continuing to joke/tease me. The major issue now is, what am I expected to do with this? I find him appealing and I believe we get along well as friends and have chemistry. I'd want to have sex with him. I'm 24 years old and have only had sex with one man. I believe that my early 20s are the only period in my life where I may openly explore my sexuality, and that this will become more difficult as I become older. But I also don't want to lose our friendship. I've never had such a close bond with a man. My primary concerns are, does he even like me in that way? Maybe he's talking to his buddy about me behind my back. If we go sexual, I'm going to ruin our relationship. I'm expecting things that aren't there, and he's simply pleasant. Help. Story 3. Ending the cheating. It is not fun or exciting, it is just plain. Hi everyone, this is my throwaway account and just wanted to share my experience as a disgusting cheater. It's not my intention to justify or be proud of cheating. My wife, F25, and I, M24, have been married for 4 years and in a relationship for 6 years. We have 2 lovely children. It all began 8 months ago when I met this lady, F20, online and did everything without providing her any of my personal information or history. So I lied about my position, name, employment, and everything else except my age. We never did anything sexual, such as video calls or emailing pictures. I simply needed someone to express how much I hate my life and all of my disappointments to, and it began that way until we loved each other enough to support one another. Because I'm concerned my wife would discover out, I kept erasing our chat history at my end. We continued chatting and agreed to meet up after Christmas. I will not be with my wife and kids because they are going to visit their family on her side, so I am going to spend my holidays alone. I suddenly realized I don't have the guts to meet her and pretend to care about her. I have feelings for her, but just on the internet, not in person. So I told her the truth, that I'm married with children, and she insisted on meeting with me despite what I told her. She said that all she wants to do is say thank you in person, embrace me, and snuggle in the hotel. Except for with my wife. I don't picture me indulging in that physical act, and just thinking about it makes me sick. I'm disgusted with myself, and now feel guilty for concealing this from my wife. I don't want to tell her since I know it would shatter her and create a major rift between us, as well as between her family and myself. I don't want to lose her because I know deep down that I love her. I want to retain this item till I die, And sure, I will most likely suffer in remorse for the rest of my life, which I deserve. What occurred and how did you handle it for those that came clean to their partners? What are their responses? Obviously, there will be adjustments, but I'd want to know what type of modifications will occur.